Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about what you need to hear. So, we're going to get into what you need to hear, what you need to know, messages. We're going to keep it very open ended. And today we have a selection of different crystals for you to choose from. So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically, you're going to see which of these crystals is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then, as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your spiritual gifts and powers. Before that, about your person and do you know them from a past lifetime? What is your soul connection with them? Before that, there was a reading about what have people realized about you. So there are a ton of different topics. And like I said, over 90 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. You also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology channel for you, and you get to choose whether you want it pre-recorded, whether you want it live with some back and forth. You get to really customize your session, so it's the perfect session for you. So like I said, if you're interested, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thanks for watching, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey guys, welcome to your reading. You got the Eight of Swords, the Chariot, the Four of Cups, the Prince of Wands, and the Hierophant, aka the High Priest. So there is someone around you that doesn't want you to be fully in your power. This person really likes you to be in a place of confusion because it feels like deep down inside, they're afraid of who you are when you are fully confident and powerful and when you're emotionally stable. So I feel like this person does things to kind of destabilize you and make you upset and make you have negative emotions. It's like this person feeds off that in a way. And I feel like what it is maybe deep down inside, they are afraid of you when you're in your power. Like there's a part of them that has such low self-esteem and they are thinking that if they don't do things to upset you, get under your skin and kind of throw you off balance, then you will realize how little value they bring to your life and then you will leave them behind. So I feel like this person really does go out of their way to try to upset you and hurt you. And if you are feeling like, oh my God, I'm paranoid, but I feel like this person, like I'll wake up in a good mood and then they send me a text and it just sends me into a spiral, or I'm super happy to talk to them and then when we talk I just feel so dejected and so low afterwards and drained. You are not crazy and you're not imagining things. I feel like this person really does do it on purpose. Like they kind of know what they're doing, but they don't care because it's like they will have you in their life at any means necessary. They just want you around, and if that involves making you feel insecure or making you doubt yourself or making you feel depressed, they're okay with that. This person, I feel like they're not gonna let you go anytime soon, and there's almost a sense of entitlement I get, like you owe them, or like they feel like they deserve to be around you and they deserve to have you at their beck and call. And I feel like honestly you have been very confused about this situation and it really puts you off your power, it puts you off balance. And so the person that you might usually be where you would be able to discern or able to be like, hey, wait a minute, I don't like that you're acting that way, is not the person that you are now, because they really do kind of drain you and feed off your energy. And again, I feel like they really do it on purpose. I feel like they go out of their way to try to get under your skin and they kind of like get off on it. And I feel like for them, it's like they may also do these things because they want to know how you feel about them. And maybe they start a crisis so that you will act out, so they can know how much you care. I feel like this person, it is sad because deep down inside, I do feel like they have a lot of love for you. I do feel like this person likes you. If you were to ask them, they'd be like, no, I do like pile one. It's not that they hate you and they're trying to hurt you in that sense. It's like they are just so insecure, and the idea of losing you for them absolutely drives them crazy. So I feel like they will do anything they have to do, and it's kind of like by any means necessary. Like if that's what we're going to have to do to get this person to stick around, then that's what we're going to do. And I feel like this person is petrified of you seeing your own power and really claiming your own position in life. Like they know that if you were to fully self-actualize and fully be in your strongest energy, that you wouldn't have time for this BS anymore. You wouldn't have time for their games or for the nonsense. So I feel like this person kind of wants to keep you in that shadowy, questioning place. Let's get some of these cards for you. Pile number one. What is the message? What is the message we have here today? So we got freedom, moving on, letting go. Wow. Wow. Okay. Maybe Spirit is just being very direct and wants you to move on. You know, one thing that the Chariot card can definitely indicate is that movement. And it's also ruled by Cancer. And so also an energy of Cancer is it's very emotional. Sometimes I think when someone's really trying to wind us up, like then they might also afterwards play victim or say, oh, you're too emotional, or oh my God, your emotions are all over the place. You're crazy. And that's such a Cancerian thing. In fact, Cancer, the word for the moon in like Latin is luna, and then that's the root of the word lunacy. So there's a lot of association with Cancer and this kind of like crazy energy. And I feel like this person might do things to like trigger your emotions, trigger that Cancer energy. And then after you react, then it's like, oh my gosh, you're nuts. I can't believe you did that. Wow. I also feel like this person just has a very kind of like self-centered, I'm going to do what I want kind of attitude. Like they may not be the best at making compromises. They may not be the best at seeing where you're coming from or understanding your point of view. So it may not even be something they're doing on purpose. It's just something they naturally feel like, of course we're going to do it my way. Like, why wouldn't we? Of course we're going to watch what I want to watch on TV. Of course we're going to eat my food. You know what I mean? Like it's just what they expect. They just think that that's how it should be. I also feel like with that Cancer energy, the Chariot is about concerted effort, and it's about deciding where you want to go and going after it and really using your full force of your emotions, your inner direction, your inner strength to get what you want. And again, I feel like that's what this person is so afraid of, is you deciding what you want and going after it, because they are very aware that that may not include them. Like they're not necessarily bringing that much value to your life. Let's be honest. And so you have tolerated it. And also, again, the Cancer energy of the Chariot. Cancer can make people very sentimental. Cancer can make someone be like, oh, but they're family. Oh, but they're a close friend. Oh, but I love them. Because it's the emotions. It's your family. It's your emotional center. It's your closest inner circle. It's your deepest loved ones. So it can make you be very sentimental, and sometimes too sentimental. Sometimes like giving someone the benefit of the doubt, you know, because you know them. It always reminds me of like when you watch Dateline or something and they'll interview the parent of the murderer, and they'll always be like, no, but he's so nice, and you know, the girl he murdered was mean to him or whatever, and they always find some excuse. That shows how delusional we can be when it comes to like a really close loved one. And so I feel like for you, you have given this person like a million chances, and you continue to give them, again, the benefit of the doubt even when they haven't really deserved it. I feel like, yeah, with that moving on, letting go card, Spirit is almost like, what would happen if you entered your Prince of Wands energy, aka the Knight of Wands, and you just stepped into your own power the most possible? Like instead of compromising, instead of constantly trying to appease this person, what would happen if you got into a bit of a selfish energy and did exactly what you wanted to do? I feel like this relationship, whatever it is, it couldn't last, because this person is so reliant on you twisting yourself into a pretzel to appease them and being afraid of your own power. This person is so certain that that's just how it has to be, and they get so uncomfortable when you're fully in your power and you're fully like radiating out your strength, that's when this person is feeling very ill at ease. So they don't want you feeling stable. They don't want you in that Hierophant, which is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus is really an energy of stability. They don't want you. Also, the Hierophant is all about power. It's really about traditional power, and that's why it shows in the Rider-Waite deck like a leader of like the Catholic Church. And so it's about those kind of traditional power organizations. And I feel like with you, this person feels like they deserve to be in the power position. They feel like they should be the one calling the shots. And there's also that energy of them wanting to boss you around or thinking that they have a right to kind of tell you what to do. They have this right to like dictate your life, and you need to listen to them and you need to do what they say. I feel like they can at times be like very controlling of you and very self-centered as far as what they want, and not really thinking about how that affects you, your goals, your dreams, whatever. For them, I feel like power is very important. It's almost like they like to play games where they're very just attuned to who has the power, who is calling the shots, who is the one that has the control, and this person is desperate to be that one with control. Let's get some more cards for you. Let's get some cards and see what energies we have. We have sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. So what's coming up to my mind for you guys is how sometimes people will try to make you seem weak because of your emotions, when actually having that sensitivity is a form of strength. And being emotionally sensitive or being, you know, someone who feels things deeply, that is not a weakness. And I feel like in a way, this person, like I said, they like to wind you up, they like to get you emotional, and then as soon as you're emotional, it's like, oh, they're crazy, look at them, they're freaking out. But they never really acknowledge that, again, they did that on purpose, and that you're not crazy. You're not crazy to get mad about a disrespectful situation. You're not crazy to get frustrated when someone isn't treating you right. You're not crazy to expect certain things in the context of a loving relationship, whether that's a family, whether that's a romantic relationship, whether that's a friendship. You know, if you're expecting emotional support, if you're expecting love and tenderness and care, those are all totally normal things to have in a relationship. So if this person is, you know, gaslighting you and trying to make you feel like, oh my God, you're expecting too much, or oh, you just overreact, you're just so dramatic, I feel like you need to know that you're not crazy and this is not a weakness. And sometimes your emotions are pointing you towards exactly where you're supposed to go. I mean, keep in mind, in astrology and tarot, water rules the emotions and psychic abilities. So our intuition is so often tied into our emotions, and we will feel, you know, we will get a psychic download via our intuition. We'll meet someone and we'll just get a bad nervous feeling, or, you know, someone does something and it just really irritates us, or we just feel so drawn and so happy around someone. Those are all ways of our intuition speaking to us. So if someone is always disrupting your peace, always upsetting you, always putting you on edge, that's your intuition speaking to you as well. And don't invalidate it or overlook it, because honestly, so many people will try to gaslight you into being like, oh, well, you're just, yeah, you're dramatic, you're being too emotional, you're crazy. But that is not the case. And a lot of times Spirit is speaking to us when we are feeling something really strongly, especially when it's like a recurring feeling over and over and over. I just feel this way around this person. That's a way that Spirit has of speaking to us. Let's get some more cards. We also got your eternal spirit, higher self, sacred intuition. What cards do we need? Let's see. This one is soulful appreciation, heartfelt gratitude. I feel like you guys do a lot for this person, and it's almost like they never notice, or they just expect it to be that way. That's just how they feel like it's supposed to be. Like in their mind, that's exactly how it is. And that's exactly how it needs to be, is like you overgiving, you doing so much for them, you pouring out your energy onto them, and them not giving a whole lot back. Like in their mind, that's exactly the right balance. Like you can see that there's this very lopsided situation here with lots of money on one side and then just a very light butterfly. Obviously, the money would weigh more than the butterfly. And I feel like what's coming to my mind with this image is just, it feels like a lopsided relationship. It feels like you're overgiving and doing a lot for this person and much more attuned to them and much more paying attention to how they feel. Like you would never want to put them in the emotional distress that they have put you. You would never want them to be feeling that same way. And if you ever made them feel that way, you'd feel so guilty about it. You'd feel so bad, and you'd go out of your way to try to fix it. So in a way, that could be your message, that this person has made no effort to try to fix it. They haven't tried to appease things. They haven't tried to smooth things over, and they just kind of continue doing things their own way and being selfish about it. Like, that's really all you need to know. That says it all, because when you care about someone and you really deeply feel connected to them and they're upset, you're going to feel that in your heart too. It's going to bother you. You know, it's like when you have siblings. I notice when one of my siblings is feeling off, or, you know, someone said something mean to them, and it bothers me. I can feel it kind of on my heart, like, oh my gosh. Even if you're mad at that sibling, even if you got in a huge fight earlier, if someone else is mean to them, or, you know, your grandmother makes a rude comment to them about them not doing well in school or whatever, you're going to be sitting there at dinner feeling guilty, feeling sad, wondering, trying to cheer them up, maybe giving them like a bite of your dessert because you just don't want them sad, because you can feel it so strong. And imagine when you're super close to someone, how you could just sit there and allow them to suffer and just not do a thing about it. That means you just don't care that much, to be honest with you. And I feel like this person is perfectly fine with you being upset and with you feeling sad, as long as they get their way at the end of the day. That's all they care about, is like making sure that things work out for them. And so if you have to be feeling sad, if you have to be off base, if you have to be not in your power, and that gets them what they want, then honestly, they're cool with it. Like, it's cool, it's fine. And I feel like they feel like the end justifies the means. Like, as long as they get you where they want you, if you have to suffer to make that happen, whatever, it really doesn't bother this person at all. Let me get some more cards for you. A final card from this deck. We just want one more card. Okay, and this one is Archangel Raguel, Justice, Harmony, Solutions. So there may also be an element of karma here, and this person having to suffer for some karma or something. Like, there may be an element of them messing up so bad and really getting, you know, some kind of punishment on the astral plane, or having this kept in the Akashic record so that they can't do it again. I feel like your guides, angels, and ancestors are very upset on some level. I feel like there's also a lot of possibility for soul growth, and Spirit is telling me that you have done a lot of growth through this relationship. So it's not all bad, but also this person, you know, your guides and angels, they could be really upset about how they are treating you. And with that Justice card coming up, it can literally show that like they are doing something wrong. And if they are treating you bad, one thing I feel like this person does a lot is tries to invalidate, or tries to make you feel like you're nuts for expecting this, or tries to make you feel like, oh my God, you're crazy. How could you even say that? How could you think that? Like, I do so much for you kind of vibe. But the reality is that I feel like they don't do enough to make you feel really safe in the context of this relationship. They don't really do enough to fully honor you so you can feel your best version of yourself. And I do feel like they do things to invalidate. So whatever they say they're doing, again, I just feel like Spirit really wants you to know you're not crazy, and you're not asking for too much. You are not some insane person who is asking for the sun, the moon, the stars. Like, you're asking for basics, and if this person can't do it, or won't do it, or doesn't want to do it, again, there's your answer. Let's get some tarot for you. Pile number 1. So let's see, what cards are we gonna get? We got the Death card. Ooh. So that may be an ending happening for this relationship. Spirit calling for an ending. And I love that we next get the Three of Wands, because the Three of Wands is such a card of like exploration, discovery. It's being ready to set out on that journey. It's being ready to kind of, we've already gone through the planning stages, and now we're ready. Let's do it, you know? And I feel like Spirit wants you to know, like, there's a lot of optimism in this situation if you do choose to leave it behind you. I feel like for you, you're unstoppable when you are fully in your power, when you are fully like confident, feeling good, radiating strength. Like, nothing can stop you. You are just so amazing and so top of your field. And I feel like you just need to know that whatever this person is scared and holding you back from, like, they should be scared, because you're the kind of person that can like move mountains and make miracles happen. You are the kind of person that is so powerful and does so much, and like the sky is the limit for you. So I feel like that's the reason why this person is trying to hold you back so much, and they are terrified of you finding your power. I feel like for them, the idea of you moving on, like they know you would thrive, they know you would do well, they know that's just who you are. You're the kind of person who just, like, I'm hearing that line from that song that's like, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. So I feel like really Spirit is saying, like, you are a success, and no matter what happens with this situation, like, you're going to be okay, and you are going to absolutely thrive. So I'm not saying you necessarily have to end whatever this relationship is or cut this person off. I know it can be tricky, especially when there's like family members involved, long-term friendships, or a long relationship. So whatever this situation, or a coworker, I mean, that's another layer of messy. But whatever this situation is, I just feel like Spirit needs you to know that you stepping into your power and you vibrating at your highest vibration, yes, it may remove this person from your life. And if that's what needs to happen, then that's what needs to happen, because this person, I feel like, is reliant on you holding your power in, on you being unconfident, on you being insecure. And the moment you find your power and really start radiating that outward, that's when they get super, super insecure, and you have almost coddled them and put up with that and tolerated that and kept yourself small for the longest time. And I feel like your guides are just so done with that. They are ready for you to embark on a new challenge. They are ready for you to own your power and claim what is yours, and it is not this janky situation. I feel like for them, they are almost saying, like, why are you even focusing on the death card moment, when right after that we're going to have a Three of Wands moment? And the Three of Wands is all about embarking on that journey. We already planned some stuff. We went through the Two of Wands, kind of like surveying the land and seeing, you know, what was going to happen. Now the Three of Wands can depict a ship coming in. Usually on the deck depicts a ship arriving. So it's like, we're ready to go. We're here. We've done the planning and we're ready to set off on this mission. So you might find that when you end contact with this person, or you filter them out of your life, or you lessen your connection with them, that right away something new comes in. Right away there's a new opportunity. Right away you're able to tap into your power and new opportunities. Let's get into some more tarot for you. We want some tarot for this pile. We got the King of Pentacles and the Temperance card. And let me get just a couple more cards. The Six of Pentacles and the Hermit. For some of you guys, this person may have tried to like very control you, or make you feel like if you know, like you're just this weirdo and you're going to be alone. If you're not with them, they're the only ones who will tolerate you. So if you're not with them, you're going to be all by yourself. And Spirit's almost laughing and saying they like being by themselves. So who cares? You know what I mean? Even if you are by yourself for a little while, which you definitely won't be forever. I'm not saying that at all. And that fear mongering is total nonsense. But even if you were by yourself for a while, you love being on your own and you love having your own identity and doing your own thing. So again, maybe shift your mindset and don't allow yourself to get into a scarcity mindset or a place of fear where you feel like this is the only connection for you, or if I leave this person, I won't have anyone, or, oh my God, I need them. This person may have also gotten you into a place where you feel reliant on them. And if you look back into your relationship, you may find times when you were ready to be independent, when you were ready to step out on your own, and yet this person almost like talked you out of it or wanted you to depend on them. It could even be financially with the Six of Pentacles. But it's like they want you to depend on them in some way. Again, they have this fear that if you're completely independent, you will not put up with them. So I feel like they've gone out of their way to take you out of your own inner strength and to make you depend on them or rely on them or really trust them, but they haven't followed through on all of that and really lived up to their promises. And I feel like Spirit is really excited for you to see what happens when you fully tap into your power, when you fully unleash your strongest energy of yourself. You may find that this relationship naturally falls off, and if it does, that's okay, because you're gonna be just fine. You always are fine. Again, we got the Three of Wands for you. I feel like you guys are so much stronger than you even realize. And I'm not saying you have to rush into this. We did get the temperance card as well. And the temperance card can always urge just being patient or chill or not like acting too hastily. But I just feel like for you, I feel like you really need to make sure you're seeking out those things that make you feel really good and those things that make you feel aligned and those things that make you feel happy and respected and joyful. And if it's not this situation, then that is your message. That's really all you need to know. Let's get into some message cards for you. Pile number 1. Let's see what messages we have. Okay, we got you're not alone, isolation, physical connection, community. Spirit wants you to know that so bad because I feel like this person really does try to go out of their way to make you feel alone. Like I've been saying that. They want you isolated. They don't want you strong. They don't want you in community. They don't want you thriving and knowing your power and knowing the effect you have on others. Like pile number 1, you guys are so infectious. Your energy is so amazing. So many people love you and would love to be around you. And I'm not even just talking, you might say, but I don't have any close friends. You might not realize that the way you smiled at the barista when you got your coffee just lit up their day. You might not realize that like the person you were checking out with at the grocery store was thinking, wow, they're such a nice person and they have a beautiful smile. You know what I mean? You might not realize you have so many people cheering for you, rooting for you, and who just want to see you thrive. So if this person is trying to make you feel like you're completely on your own, just that is again another tactic they're using because they can see your power. They can see what you bring to the table and they are so terrified of you seeing it as well and you claiming that power back. Let's get another card for you. What card are we gonna get? Let's see what message they need to hear. We got weight of the world, boundaries, let go. It's not yours to carry. Yeah, it's also not yours to carry on these emotional burdens I feel like this person places on you. Like it's almost like if they're having a bad day, they would blame you. Or if they're upset about something, they put it on you. They're again, they use you a lot for your emotional regulation. Another thing about the Chariot card being ruled by Cancer, Cancer is the mom of the zodiac. So a lot of Cancer placements can attract people who expect them to be a mom and take care of them. And I feel like with this person, they almost expected you to be this perfect mom and like nurture them and soothe them. And it may have been very dysfunctional because in some cases it can be a parent acting this way and yet they're doing that to their kids. They're asking their kids to parent them and to help them emotionally and to like regulate them emotionally. And that's such a reversal. It's so unhealthy when that happens in a parent-child dynamic. Whatever kind of relationship this is, I just feel like this person really puts a lot on you and kind of expects you to just do everything. And they don't have any awareness of exactly how draining that is for you and how much of a burden that has felt like. They just don't care. It's like as long as they get what they want, they're good with it. And if you get burnt out and you're feeling energetically completely fried, exhausted at the end of your rope, it's still chill for them as long as you're doing what they want. And I feel like this is really about taking your power back, realizing how powerful you are, realizing what you bring to the table, and no longer just giving it away to someone who's never going to return it, never going to reciprocate, and never going to even give you that validation of like, by the way, you've done so much for me, but will continue to lie and play in your face and be like, you didn't do that much. No, you don't help me at all. Yeah, they're just very much kind of an energetic taker. And we got 2 cards. This one says, I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. And this one is the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Let me get one more just to even it out. This one says Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. So you deserve safety and trust in a relationship. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel like you can trust the other person. And I feel like Spirit wants you to remember who you are and maybe who you were before this person either entered your life or just started with their nonsense. Even if this is a parent and you've known them your whole life, it could be about remembering who you were as a soul and coming back to that place, going into meditation and remembering, oh yeah, this is who I am. Or even stepping outside of your family and remembering who you are by interacting with people in like your social circle instead. But I feel like you need to remember your value and who you are. It reminds me of that song Bejeweled by Taylor Swift, where she's like, and I can still go out and I can still get dressed up. And maybe this person I've been in this relationship that's been so attuned to your needs and kept myself small to make you happy, I'm not doing that anymore. I am going to claim my power and be as bright and shiny as I want to be. And I feel like that's what you need to do. And it's funny that right after she released that song, right, she had a breakup, because a lot of times when you are keeping yourself small, when you are keeping yourself in the shadows for one person, and you change that energy up and you enter into your star era where you are shining as bright as possible, yeah, that relationship is going to naturally fall off. And honestly, I think that was a blessing. She seems a lot happier now, to be honest. So whatever you feel about it, my point is that sometimes it's the scariest thing to let go of those old relationships, even when we know they're not for us, even when we know we feel drained, burnt out, we're at the end of our rope. It's still really hard to leave it in the past. It can still be so hard to trust the universe, that the universe has abundance for us in the future. But trust me, it does. The universe has endless abundance, and the universe will always replace something we remove from our lives. So if we're ready to end a relationship, we don't need to be in fear that, oh my God, I'm never going to find anyone else, or I'm always going to be alone. Of course you will not. The universe will have someone even better in mind for you. So do what's best for you. And even if that's not ending things, maybe it's just claiming your power back and stepping into your highest level of strength. But yeah, this is about you remembering who you are and really shining as brightly as you possibly can. So that is what I have for you guys. I really hope it resonates. If you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your spiritual powers and gifts. Before that, I posted one all about your person and do you know them from a past life? What is your soul connection with them? Before that, I posted one about what people have realized about you. There is so much content to choose from, though. There are over 90 exclusive readings, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So they always get posted over there first, and we also vote and suggest on new topics. So there's a lot to go through. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you want me to do tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, you get to really pick and choose how you want your session to go, what we talk about, what we get into, whether it's live, whether it's pre-recorded. So yeah, there are lots of options to choose from. If you're interested, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Bile 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Moon, the Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Prince of Swords, aka the Knight of Swords, and the Five of Wands. So I am getting a message that some of you guys are about to have your hard work pay off. I also feel like there's a message about you undervaluing yourself. Like, it's like you aren't seeing everything you're bringing to the table, or you're not realizing how much you do for everyone around you and how much value you bring. I feel like some of you guys just think that almost like what you're doing is normal and it's just supposed to be this way, and this is how everyone does it. And Spirit wants you to know that you are like above and beyond exceptional. And I also feel like some of you guys may have coworkers or maybe competitors in your field who are a little bit jealous or envious, and they're very competitive with you, and they kind of like see what you're doing and either try to copy it or try to sabotage you in a way. I feel like they don't see your value, or you don't see your value, but they do. You know, you don't realize everything you're bringing to the table, but they see it, and they know how powerful you are, and that's what intimidates them. I almost get the energy that there are forces trying to hold you back, or forces that are, like I said, a little bit jealous, and like it bothers them to see how well you're doing. It bothers them to see how effortless it is for you, and that you don't need to try so hard because it just comes to you naturally. You have a natural way about you that people are drawn to, people like and enjoy. So for them, it's very frustrating because they feel like they have had to work 10 times as hard to get what you are just getting naturally. And that's when the jealousy comes out, and that's when the almost like, I want to say, obsession starts. Like there's a very strong, I feel like, evil eye energy where it's just like almost you can't do anything without these people getting upset about it or getting annoyed. And it almost might be a situation where like they get together to gossip about you, and they just are mentioning the most ridiculous tiny things like, oh my God, did you see what she ate for lunch today? Or, oh my God, did you see the way she spoke to that person? Or, oh my gosh, like she told me her favorite music was this. And almost like if someone impartial who is just there randomly could hear this conversation, they'd be like, you guys are insane. Like, why are you so fixated on this person? And what did they do to you? And like, get over it. I feel like for you, there is this really strong energy of standing out and getting attention, and that almost being something that gets held about against you, or almost like you getting accused of like, oh, you want so much attention, you have to be the center of attention, you're always trying to like take the spotlight, and a lot of jealousy around that, a lot of resentment about why do you need to be center stage. And I feel like they don't realize that that's not something you've tried. It's just something you naturally attract, is like that attention and that focus. And you can't help that people are clocking what a good job you're doing, and people notice the value you bring. I feel like for you, there is a message that there's no need to try to appease these people. There's no need to try to get them to like you, because like they never will. And you're already on a better and higher level with them than them. And they know it too. And that's why they are so bothered. It doesn't matter what they have financially. It doesn't matter what you have financially or where you're at in life. They can see this kind of like spark and this charisma in you that they don't have, and they're very, very jealous of that. So honestly, I feel like for them, it bothers them. Even your existence bothers them, because they feel mediocre in comparison, and you are never going to win them over. There's nothing you could possibly do, because your shine comes through so strong that it's like there is literally nothing you could ever do to make them like you. I always compare this energy to like if Megan Fox randomly showed up at your like neighborhood barbecue, or you were having a barbecue with a few friends and someone was like, oh, I'm bringing my girlfriend, and like literally Megan Fox showed up. And yeah, a few people would probably be like just excited to meet her, or if she's not as famous and she just looks like Megan Fox looks. But probably most people would be like jealous, standoffish. They'd be like, who is she? Why is she so fancy? Why is she so beautiful? I mean, jealousy is a very real thing, and people will be jealous of like the craziest stuff. So I feel like you need to know, like, if you sense jealousy and envy from these people, you're not crazy. You're not nuts. They do sense it, and they sense your power, and they sense your potential, and it's innate. It's an innate part of you, and it's never going to change. Even if they reach some huge level of success, even if they got the perfect boyfriend, or they were thriving in their career, they're still never going to not see jealousy or feel jealousy when they see you, because it's something innate inside of you that you just bring to the table, and these people can't stand it. I feel like for you, there is this vibe of effortlessness. Like, you're not trying and you're still getting it done. You're still accomplishing a lot. You're still attracting attention. And that's what gets under their skin even more, is like this, like, it's maddening when you've worked so hard at something and then someone just breezes in and does it overnight. And that's almost the energy I'm getting with you, is like, you haven't had to try, you haven't had to work that hard, and it just has naturally flown to you. And that's what bothers these people. They don't want to see you do well. They don't want to see you succeed, and they are not going to be happy until you are like out on the street starving or something. So like I said, there is no need to try to appease these people. There is no need to try to get them on your right side. They're never going to like you. And the sooner you accept that, and the sooner you just move on from it and actually start feeling satisfaction, start feeling pride. I heard a feeling that was like a saying that was like, when people are talking behind your back, that's good, because it shows you're ahead of them. And it's so true. Like, people only do that with someone they're intimidated by. And I feel like these people either deliberately misunderstand you, but definitely do not try to befriend them. Do not try to get them to see you the right way, because they never will. And it's just going to be a waste of your energy and an exercise in frustration. Shine as bright as possible. And if they don't like it, honestly, good. They can suffer and they can have to watch as you just continue to thrive. I also feel like these people kind of want to convince you that you're actually not doing anything that great. They almost want to make you feel bad and not see your own power. There's also an energy about you letting your own demons sometimes get in the way, where sometimes you will tell yourself like, I can't do this, or that's cringe, or I would try to do this, or I would go for this goal, but I'm afraid of what people think. And again, Spirit just wants you to know that like the right people who are actually cheering you on will be so excited for you if you accomplish a goal. They will be so thrilled for you. And the people that are the secret haters will be so unhappy. And you know what? It's kind of fun to make them mad anyway. So that's actually a net positive. But my point is, you never have to worry about alienating the right people for you, because the right people for you, no matter what you're doing, are going to support it. They're going to see the good in it. They're going to be happy for you and your success. So there's almost an energy of you really blocking out the haters and the people that are trying to hold you back, and really focusing on your goals and allowing yourself to like dream big and actually go for it. Let's get some of these cards for pile number 2. What do we have for pile number 2 from this beautiful oracle deck? Prosperity, abundance, and success. Yes, that is one of the things that is coming through so strong, is your success, pile number 2. It feels like you guys are on track to achieve something really amazing. And if you were to fully unleash your power and fully be your biggest version of yourself, instead of holding yourself back or trying to waste energy appeasing anyone else, making them happy, satisfying someone else, then I feel like you guys could absolutely blow the doors off, be so amazing, and like blow everyone away. And I feel like some of this is almost like self-sabotage or a self-image, where like there's a part of you that is also afraid of this success, maybe because of the presence of other people in your life, these haters, and maybe they live rent-free in your mind, where you're like, I wonder what they would say, I wonder what they would think, or oh, they would think this is so cringe. Who cares what they think? Because actually I feel like a lot of these people, they're so insecure. They literally, like, you live rent-free in their mind already. You've already won. So there's nothing you could do to even get rid of that. No matter how much ish they want to talk, no matter how much they want to say that like they think you're lame or whatever, it's not true. And they really are deep down super jealous and see you as the winner, see you as someone who's such a success, and see themselves as losers in comparison. So knowing that, why would you ever even worry about what are they going to think? What are they going to say? It's almost like when you already won the race, like literally seeing, like thinking of a runner who just passed the finish line and they are getting ready to get the gold medal. They would never sit around worrying, oh my God, I wonder what the person in 6th place is going to think of me. I wonder what that person who's like 10th place or even 3rd place or 4th place, all they care about is like, yeah, I did it, I won, and you can be mad about it. And they almost would be happy if the person's mad. Probably they're like, yes, that makes the victory even better, because now I get that confirmation of what I've done. And so you need to reframe some of the haters' behavior from like, oh my God, I can't believe they think that. Oh my God, I can't believe they said that. I'm so embarrassed, to like, heck yeah, I got under their skin. I'm bothering them. And that's because they see the power in me and they're shook and intimidated. And that is a good thing. That shows that you're on the right track, because no one gets intimidated by someone who's not a threat, not a factor. If anything, you try to go out of your way to be extra nice to them. You feel bad for them. You feel sorry for them. When you are going out of your way to sabotage someone, to be mean to them, to be cruel to them, it's because you see them as your main competition. And that's exactly what's going on with you. You are the competition. You are the one that people have to worry about. So that's why they're bothered by you. And you just need to take this as confirmation of how amazing you are. And again, stop limiting yourself. Stop even worrying about what they're going to say. And embrace all of your goals, embrace the things you actually want to do. And I feel like this is also an energy of like not being afraid to be cringe, not being afraid to do exactly what you want, and not worrying what anyone else is going to say about it. They also don't pay your bills. They don't take care of your chores. They don't add any value to your life. They're not influencing or affecting your life. So why would you even worry about them? Why would you even spend one moment thinking about what are they going to say? What do they think? What's on their mind, etc.? Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 2. So we got talent guides. Oh my God. Yes, I love it. You guys are so talented. I'm telling you, like, you really have so much talent, and like, you literally have probably been assigned guides to help you work on these talents. That's how good you are. That's how much your team on the other side wants you to embrace this, try for this, and like actually succeed and actually do it. And sometimes it's, that one person can, yeah, initiate the negativity, but then we continue it by letting them live rent free in our head. That person who's negative to us off the jump, that person who has something nasty to say, instead of just blocking them out and ignoring them, we continue to think, oh, I wonder what they're going to think if I post that picture. I wonder what they're going to have to say if they know blah, blah, blah is happening. Oh my God, I hope they don't find out about this. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's just such a destructive way of living. And the worst part and the saddest part is it holds us back from really going after our goals, that thing that we would have felt brave enough, confident enough to actually embrace and try and do. Now we're going to be in that energy of like, oh my God, I'm afraid. I don't know if I should say that. I don't know if I should post that. What are they going to think? What are they going to say? Honestly, we also got Archangel Zadkiel, self-acceptance, compassion, and forgiveness. This is also about self-acceptance and also knowing that not everyone is going to like you. As I love to say, not everyone likes caviar. And actually, the more sometimes the more expensive or the better something is, the more polarizing it is, right? Like caviar is a very intense fishy taste. A lot of people don't like it, but the people who do love it are willing to pay like thousands of dollars for a tin of caviar. So, the more intense of a taste you are, the more flavorful you are, the more you're bringing to the table, the more you're going to scare away people who just want the bland, the people who just want like a slice of bread and maybe some margarine spread on that, and that's about as much flavor as they want. You know what I mean? And when you're bringing more than that, and there's something pungent and exciting and overwhelming about you, yeah, you're going to rub some people the wrong way, but you're also going to attract those people that are just obsessed with you, can't get enough. So that's why we never have to be afraid to show our most deep, best version of ourselves, because honestly, it is just going to sort out the wheat from the chaff, get rid of the people who don't have our best interests at heart, probably never liked us, didn't like us anyway. Who cares what they have to think? Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 2. Okay, we got 2 cards. Oh, pile 1 got these as well. That's interesting. Soulful appreciation, heartfelt gratitude, and sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. So I feel like this card is definitely a message for you about your sensitivity is also not a negative. You also got the moon card, and the moon card is connected with Pisces in tarot, and obviously it also has that connection to Cancer from astrology. But Pisces and Cancer are both super sensitive signs. And it's funny because people really look down on water, I think, for that reason. And they'll say, oh, water signs are crybabies, water signs are weak. But if you think about water, it's maybe the most powerful element. Now, they're all elements are powerful in their own way, in different situations. They're all gonna thrive in different environments, and they all have their environment where they're gonna be the best. But I would say overall, water is very adaptive, and it has that strength because of that. And if you think about it, it can put out a fire, it can cut through earth, it can dissolve earth. Maybe air, it doesn't affect as much. Air kind of floats on top. But for the most part, water is a very, very powerful element. And if you think of something like an undertow, or someone who's swimming in a current of a river or an ocean, and then they get swept away and everything looked calm on the surface, that's so watery. A tsunami is so watery. The Grand Canyon being carved out of water, that's water potential. And there's a message for you not to be afraid of your emotions, all those things that water governs, whether it's emotions, whether it's your psychic ability, whether it's you being sensitive, you getting upset about certain things, you feeling things really deeply. I almost feel like there are people who have tried to make you feel bad about that, or tried to make you feel like, oh my God, you're too much, or just get over it, or whatever. And I feel like part of your sensitivity is going to be what brings you success. Part of you feeling things deeply, it is a strength and an advantage, and it's nothing for you to be ashamed of or run away from or try to suppress. It's actually your power. And I feel like some of these people are upset because as well, They can see this beautiful, special, creative ability that you have. Water also is highly creative. So I feel like for you, they can see that you have this vivid imagination. They can see that you have this kind of brilliant genius insight. And a lot of them don't like that. And a lot of them want to suppress that part of you and kind of beat it out of you. And I feel like you clinging onto that and making sure that that stays a part of your identity is going to be a big key part of your success. I'm thinking of like Steve Jobs, a Pisces, and he was the head of Apple, and he really changed how, like, I mean, he changed single-handedly how cell phones look or how like laptops look, and almost completely established the prototype of the kind of phones most of us use nowadays, the kind of laptops, the design of all these products that used to look so different, and completely blew all the stock prices for Apple out of the water. And it was by following what a lot of the computer programmers probably thought was really stupid. Like, why would you spend so much time on the design? But he was apparently obsessed with design. He would like go back and shout at people if they tried to rush through the design. He'd get really upset. And if you think about it, things really haven't innovated since Steve Jobs died. Like, he was the one who would get so emotional and so obsessed about how it looked, which is very Pisces. And, you know, that was something that contributed hugely to Apple's success. So never let someone tell you like, oh my God, you're looking too deep or you care too much. Sometimes those things that we care about so much and those things that we intuitively give our attention to, those are signs and signals of what we should be following and what we should be pouring our energy into. Let's get some tarot for you, pile number 2. Let's get some tarot for pile 2. So we got the Queen of Wands, the Five of Cups. What messages do we have for pile 2? Okay, the Four of Wands, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, Spirit is saying there's some kind of creative, there's some kind of idea Spirit has put in your mind and your heart, but you've been afraid to embrace it. You haven't wanted to do anything with it. The Four of Swords, the Sun card, and the Queen of Swords. And let's get one more card. The Nine of Swords. Yeah, it almost feels like you're like tied up, afraid to move forward. Like there's a part of you that keeps questioning. And I really feel like this is about you being bold enough to step into some kind of identity or some kind of, I don't know, thing you've been dreaming of doing for a really long time, but you're so terrified of what people are going to say. And Spirit wants you to know that also you don't need anyone else's permission. Like you don't need my permission. You don't need a family member's permission. You don't need friends' permission. And no one else has to get or appreciate what you're doing as long as it makes you happy. And when you follow that and really act from that place that's deep inside your soul, that's when you'll be in your deepest alignment. And the more you try to make other people comfortable and do things that are going to make them excited for you and them happy and them pleased, the more you're losing your inner authority. You are the authority, pile number 2. And I feel like your guides, they really, really want you to realize your power. They really, really want you to stop giving away that power to other people. They really want you to stand firm and strong in who you are and no longer allow any doubt to creep in. And you might make a ritual or a practice that when you find yourself getting stressed out, or if you find yourself beginning to doubt, if you find yourself being like, oh, I don't know, I'm insecure, I don't know if I should post this, I don't know, there is that message that you really need to like come down hard on yourself as well. Like you need to tell yourself like, of course I'm gonna post it. I like this thing, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And if you find your mind wandering to like, oh my God, what is this person gonna say? Or what are they gonna think? Or I don't know, like I'm afraid that if I post that, like people are gonna think it's embarrassing. That's when you need to honestly be very harsh with yourself and tell yourself like, who cares what they think? And I'm amazing and I'm happy with it. And that's all that matters. And almost like no longer allowing yourself to even go there, no longer allowing yourself to let those doubts win or to let any insecurity win out. Like if you're happy with it, that's all you need to know. And I honestly think that practice, as silly as it may sound, but it is a huge part of finding your spiritual ability. Like I know for me, I have always obviously been super drawn to, like tarot, psychics, mediums. So before I ever started doing the work myself, I started going to psychics and, you know, I was that was something that was like part of my process of discovery, and learned a lot from going to psychics. I always really had some great experiences. But I will say, towards the end, I actually had a psychic tell me, by the way, they want you to stop doing psychic readings, because I was doing them like every couple months. Or if I had, extra money laying around, maybe I would do like two within 2 weeks or whatever. It depended on what was going on in my life, obviously, like if I felt I needed a reading, whatever. But she was like, they're saying like, you keep doing these readings and they want you to stop doing them, and they want you to listen and trust your own judgment. And I think there's nothing wrong. I still go to psychics, like mediums, whatever, tarot readers, because I like to get that second judgment. But I think sometimes it's important to get to that place of like listening to yourself, listening to your inner voice. When you find yourself giving away your inner authority to others, when you find yourself repeatedly seeking out, what is this person going to say? Or you have that friend and you always turn to them for advice, or you always are asking your boyfriend for his input, or you always are asking your mom, that's giving away your authority. You are the only one who knows what is going to resonate for you in this lifetime. You are the only one who knows what soul goals you signed up for. You are the only one who knows your calling or your inner voice, what it's saying to you. You're the only one who can hear that. So that's why it's going to be so important to listen, to pay attention. And of course, other people can have input, other people can weigh in, but ultimately at the end of the day, you have to be the one who stays firm in your decision. And if something is calling you, or you want to do something, or you feel like this is a destiny thing for you, or just anything you're interested in, then that's what you need to do. You need to seek it out with authority and with that strength that you see with like the Queen of Wands, where she's not going to let anyone tell her what to do. If she wants to do it, she is going to do it. And with the Ace of Cups, that can definitely be an amazing creative idea that Spirit has given you, and Spirit wants you to lean into it and actually run with it. Not just think of it, not just imagine it, but actually do something with it, actually move forward with it. The Sun card is also extremely creative, ruling the 5th house of like creative hobbies. Leo is so creative, and it's really about shining as brightly as possible. So there is so much potential here, but Spirit is almost saying, why do you hold yourself back? Why do you let other people shine? Why do you not fully own your power? And like, what are you waiting for? Because there's no prize at the end of the day for keeping yourself in the shadows. I will say, I mentioned before, but I briefly worked for an estate sale company. I really kind of loved that job because I have always loved estate sales. Now they're super trendy, but I've always loved them. And so I was like going to one all the time, and the lady was like, would you be interested in a job here? You're always picking stuff. And she said I had great taste. So she asked me if I wanted a job anyway. So I was like, sure. And I thought I was going to be like appraising antiques all day, and it was going to be so glamorous. No, it was basically like cleaning up someone's house and then pricing stuff. So it was not the glamorous job I thought, but I think it taught me a lot. And one of the things I remember is having to throw out like this huge book of memories that this older couple had made of like all their vacations, and the vacations looked amazing. Like they were going to like Mexico and Europe and going to the beach and staying in these beautiful old cities, and it looked so pretty. And I was just like, oh, and I really felt bad. And I kept asking, like, is there a way to contact the children? Like, shouldn't we, I don't want to throw this away. I feel so bad. But the lady was like, no, the kids don't want them. And honestly, I think that happens so much of the time. Something that means so much to us, something that we are so kind of like obsessed with, someone else may not care at all. And I think the lesson from that is like, you have to live your life for you. Or if there's something you want to put out, someone else might not see the value in that. Like if you are like, I have this idea for a book and I really want to write it, someone else might think, oh, that sounds really boring and pointless and I would never read it. I would never want to write that. No way. So it's almost like if you don't do it, no one else will. Or if you don't post that picture on Instagram and you're like, oh, I don't know, like maybe someone's going to think it's cringe, and so I'm not going to post that. Trust me, no one else will. And also no one will even notice your absence. And that's the sad thing about it. No one's going to care. So it's like the only way for you to create your own identity, your own legacy, is to step out and be bold about it and not hold yourself back. Because trust me, like that's one of the sad things about working in estate sales is like there's oftentimes so many beautiful objects or something that was so special to that person. Like one of the families we did, or one of the houses, they had an entire room for Christmas. They loved loved Christmas. So they had like this room that was just decorated with like Christmas things and I think some other holidays, but they were a big holiday decoration person, holiday decor, especially Christmas. And anyway, of course, most of the items ended up just getting thrown away or sold for like really cheap or sold for half the price. And it's funny because, again, their kids didn't care, didn't want any of those items. And I don't even blame the kids because they have to make their own life. But my point is that so many of those things that bring you joy are like gonna be specific to you. So it's kind of like a sad realization, I guess, that a lot of other people, they will not care at all about anything you do. They won't care about your goals. They don't care about your dreams. They're not on the same page as you. They don't want the same thing. So if there's something that you love and brings you joy, you're going to have to be the one who embraces it and brings it into your life and into the world. Let's get into some message cards for you. Pile number 2. Okay, so this one says the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Okay, and this one is double mission, lightworker, starseed, serve the world by being you. Yes. Oh my God, I love it. Because yes, pile 2, you are going to serve the world by being you. You are going to bring something into the world by being unapologetically you. And this is something so many people miss as well. Like they're like, yeah, but if I do that, if I post that YouTube video, if I post that Instagram of myself, if I go out for that career and I apply for the job I always wanted, then like that's selfish and I'm not really serving anyone. And actually like I need to stop being so self-centered. And there's a message that actually the world is going to benefit so much from you shining as brightly as you can and from you bringing this forth. Only you have your unique perspective. Only you see the world the way you do. So honestly, I feel like your guides are tugging on you like, you need to embrace this. You need to do this. You need to make it happen. We got activation time, integration time. This is time. Like the time is now. What are you waiting for? Pile number 2. And we also got portal. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards, wild card. Yes, this is a transition time. This is your time to seize the moment. I really feel like this is a very pivotal time for you, pile 2. And portals don't always stay open all the time. So I feel like you are being called to really embrace this moment for yourself, step into it and do what you feel is right in your heart. You are the only one who can decide your fate. You are the only one who can know what's right for you. Other people can weigh in, other people can have opinions, but no one else really knows what is your soul, your destiny. So you need to embrace this, and let's get 2 more cards. Messenger, serious energy, bringing forth harmony and balance. And 1 more card. Activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. Yes, trust where you're led. And also, I feel like there's so many cards we've gotten about activation energy and about how like the time is now. Also about you being a messenger, we have a lot of the suit of the swords. So we got like the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and one of the missions of the sword cards is often, air signs, is often to bring forth some kind of message. They are really talented in speaking. They often have gifts in communication, and it's up to them to bring through this message. A lot of times that's why they're gifted with like Gemini placements or even Virgo placements, even though that's Earth. But it's because they're supposed to bring something down from the astral plane. It's because they have something to say. It's because their message is going to be valuable to the collective. So never doubt that. Never feel like if I say this, if I step into the spotlight, I'm being selfish. No, you're actually serving the collective as much as you possibly could by being the boldest and brightest version of yourself. So that is what I have for you. Pile number 2. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my readings, be sure to check out my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your spiritual gifts and talents. And before that, about your person and do you know them from a past life? What's your spiritual connection with them? How did you know them? Before that, I posted one all about what people have realized about you, but there are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can have me do tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. You can have me do a live reading one-on-one with you back and forth, or you can have me do a pre-recorded reading. You get to choose really what we focus on, what we talk about, and lots of details with that. So like I said, if you're interested, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile three, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards. So you guys got the Hermit, the Seven of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, and the Two of Cups. So with the Hermit coming out and the Two of Cups, I feel like there is a really complex message coming through. For those of you guys who are single, or even some of you guys who are in relationships, there is a message about sometimes maybe having like hyper independence or always doing things on your own. I also feel like for those of you guys who are in relationships, there could be a message about if you're doing everything on your own, if your partner isn't really helping you, then maybe it's okay for you to just be on your own. Like if they're not actually adding value, if they're not doing things for you, if you're having Nine of Swords moments and you're stressing out all the time and you feel like you have to do everything yourself, then is that partner really for you? Is that partner really adding to your life? And kind of taking stock of that and not being afraid to take a look at that. I think sometimes people are afraid to really like pop the hood of their relationship and see what's going on. It's almost like they're afraid of what they're going to see. And I feel like for you, the message is just almost like being honest and taking stock. This doesn't even have to do with relationships. It could be in friendships. It could be in any kind of relationship. And maybe questioning with yourself as well, like, am I just super independent about everything? Am I the kind of person that just takes all this stuff on? Or has it kind of been given to me? Sometimes we act like, oh, this person's just randomly hyper independent in a relationship, but it's because they don't feel safe enough to trust that other person and open up, and they're listening to that inner feeling of safety. And kind of, I feel like Spirit might even want to validate that or say like, yeah, you have a point with that. And I feel like for you, it's almost like some of you guys feel really frustrated, but you're not even sure how or why. Like there's this sense of like not getting at what you want out of your relationships, but not really knowing what to change and really not knowing what to do differently about it. I feel like for you, what I'm hearing is it may be a good idea to make, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, whatever, making a list, making a vision board, making some kind of list of things you want, things that, are important to you, and things maybe that you don't care about as much. But I feel like you really need to kind of write down and start thinking clearly about what you're getting out of whatever this is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job situation. I think so much of the time we can kind of even gaslight ourselves. And sometimes there's a fear of like the status quo changing or what will happen next if I leave this behind. And I'm not saying you have to leave it behind. I really am not getting a clear answer from Spirit as far as like, okay, it's time to go, or you need to stay in this. But I do feel like a lot of you guys do quite a bit on your own, or you feel very on your own. And it's almost like worth discussing this if you have a partner with them and bringing it up like, okay, you didn't help me with that. I was all on my own with that, and I need help in the future. Or, bringing your concerns. Like the thing is, if someone isn't really able or willing to listen to your concerns, and maybe sometimes they even want to, but they can't because, I don't know, they have trauma of their own or they get triggered by what we're saying. But either way, if they are not capable of listening to us, hearing us, and then, giving that back, then, why are we in that? And why are we continuously banging our head against the wall trying to fix it if it's just kind of a done deal and there's no point? Sometimes we have to take people for what they are. Sometimes we have to accept that that's just the point someone's at in their relationship, or that's just the point that someone's at in their personal growth. And it's not to say that they're like a mean, evil, bad person, but maybe that's all they're capable of giving. But if we're always overextending ourselves, if we're always stressing ourselves out or trying to manage things, then sometimes it's worth taking note of that, taking stock of that, and just being like, okay, I've got to do my own thing. Because if I'm going to be stressed out anyway, like I might as well just not have that other responsibility as well and have more freedom. But I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. I think you are being called to like listen to your intuition and listen to your own judgment with this, and not
Like I feel like there's really that need to sit down and kind of think it out. It's almost like there's certain things you've been ignoring. And even if you're single, again, this doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a job. This could be a friendship. But if even if you're single and you're wanting to improve your relationships, it could be sitting down and making a list of relationships or thinking about habits you've had in relationships or what you do when you start feeling kind of unsafe in relationships, whether you run, whether you sabotage it, whether you get critical, but kind of like unpacking your own issues and what you want and what you are going to try for in the future. I feel like for you this is really about, like I said, kind of thinking clearly and also realizing that you have lots of different possibilities and that you don't have to settle for something that's not making you feel good. Let me get some more cards for you. Pile number 3. So we want to get some cards and messages that pile 3 needs to hear. We have kinship, community, your group. Okay. This could overall also just be that feeling of loneliness that I feel with our men. Sometimes you can be really lonely in the context of a relationship, but obviously you can also be lonely when you're alone. And so I feel like this is also about asking yourself, if you do have a partner, like, can I go to them with my problems? Will they help me take care of things? I mean, if this is like a situationship and this person is already stressing you out so much, I feel like, oh my God, that's your sign. Like really, if someone, I also think, different maybe phases in a relationship require different levels of stress. You know what I mean? Like if you're committed to someone and you have that commitment with them and then you're stressed out because you guys are moving into a new house together and they put your name on the deed, his name is on the deed, your name is on the deed, whatever. And it's like this kind of milestone in the relationship, but you guys are stressed and you're arguing because, it's the move. Then that's one thing, right? Like, it's okay. It's kind of like it makes sense with that level of stress and you're getting something out of it. The person has committed to you. So it's like, okay, that's maybe a normal thing to have happen in a relationship. Sometimes you argue, whatever. But if you're arguing all the time and this is a situationship and that person hasn't even given you the commitment, then I feel like it's like that's your clue. Because honestly, if they're not even willing to do that, then why are you having to put up with that level of stress? And with the high cortisol level, stress is very bad on the body. Those 9 of Swords moments are not really good for us to live in all the time. Of course, that happens with life. Sometimes you get stressed out by everything, right? Like your career, your family. And it's not to say, oh, I had some stress, now I have to throw this away entirely. But I think it's also worth considering, like, what am I getting out of this? And sometimes I think, especially women, but men can do it too, can really be very single-minded and can just get into that relationship and then fixate on the relationship and do whatever it takes to maintain it. And it's like they're not even getting anything in response. You know what I mean? They're not even really having their lives improved. Sometimes they're having their lives made way worse, or they're getting themselves so stressed out about, some guy that won't even call them their girlfriend or won't even, post them on social media or whatever. And it's like, if that's the case, as addictive as that energy may feel, it's worth looking at it and being like, what am I getting out of this? What is the reality of this situation? Not necessarily my feelings, but what is the reality? And how can I look after myself? Look, we got balance, centered energy, self-care. And it's really a form of self-care when you look after yourself in that way, when you don't allow someone to, treat you badly, like invite you out last minute. Again, whether it's with friends, whether it's with family, whether it's with career, when you don't allow someone to just, like, assume that, hey, we need another person. We're going out to this restaurant. Do you want to come? Texting you 10 minutes before, and clearly they don't. I mean, it's normal if you like have a really close friend for them to do that. But sometimes people will take you for granted. Sometimes you can just feel that you're that role in the group, that they don't really like you. They don't really up with you like that. But you know what? We need another person to go in on this vacation. So do you want to come? And you're going to have to pay a little more, but it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Or you're always the friend that's expected to get the Uber, or you're always the person that is expected to stay late at the office and you never get any recognition of that. And it's sometimes worth noting, like, like, what am I doing and how am I overextending myself to fit into this situation, to make this work, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career thing or a friend group or whatever. And how can I have like more respect for myself and more self-care and take care of myself and look after myself? And what would I tell if I had like a younger sister or a younger brother who was in this situation? What advice would I give them? I probably wouldn't say, oh yeah, like definitely keep paying for the Ubers and sooner or later they'll probably like you if you just pay enough. No, you would tell them like, that's crazy. They shouldn't be making you pay every single time. Maybe you should distance yourself from those people. Like they shouldn't be clowning on you when you show up and making fun of you the whole time. Yeah, a couple jokes is fine, but if you sense that energy from a group, from a person, from a place, that they're not really treating you with respect and you're not really allowed to have those demands or desires in a relationship, and it's just about what they want, then that's a problem. So I feel like for you, it's just a matter of kind of like taking stock of your relationships and taking stock of what's been going on. Like we got this mental clarity card, and I feel like a lot of it is just about having that mental clarity. Sometimes we get so kind of like immersed in an experience, and we also get so focused on the possibility. Like in that example of the toxic friend group that isn't really treating you well and is low key kind of like bullying you, it's like we get so fixated on like, oh my God, but I got included, and then I can post this on social media, and this possibility that like I really like them, and one day they're gonna, one day we'll all get along, and it's okay if they treat me badly. And sometimes it's just about looking at the situation and admitting what it is, and not trying to sugarcoat it to yourself, not trying to put a happy filter on it, but just admitting like, oh yeah, maybe these people don't like me, or yeah, this guy that I've been seeing, he doesn't want to be in a committed relationship with me, and he probably never will. And even if he does, 6 months down the road, do I really want to stick around and wait for that? Do I really want to have to tell people, yeah, we met in a situationship, and then he wouldn't like commit to me for like a year, but after a year, he finally let me be his girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not what you want. You deserve better than that. And so, whatever this is in regards to, I feel like it's like paying attention to like, how do I feel when I'm with this person? Do I still feel alone? Do I still feel like I have to handle it all by myself? Even if this is a relationship, a committed relationship, sometimes it's like, I can't bring this up to my partner because it'll stress him out. And so I'm just going to handle it by myself. Or why am I so angry and stressed all the time? And maybe it's because you don't have a feeling of safety within that relationship. You don't feel like you can fully open up to that person. Even if the love is there, maybe that person dumps a lot on you. And then when you try to bring it up, they're like, oh, you're stressing me out. That can be a common dynamic. And if that's the case, then it's really worth, again, taking a step back and being like, what is this relationship doing for me? Am I feeling like better than I was before I entered into the relationship? Because sometimes, even if that's like, oh my gosh, lucky you, you got married, you're feeling so much worse than you would have been if you were just single. Yeah, I feel like for you, it's almost like listening to your intuition, and also having that trust and faith in yourself, like knowing you can do it, knowing you can handle things, knowing that you don't have to be tied to one person. And this outcome isn't the only one that has to work out. The universe has endless abundance, as this card says, and the Nine of Pentacles also talks about that. So there's no need for us to be afraid of one thing ending, or what if this leaves my life, or I'm going to be so upset if that happens, because trust and believe there will always be another coming in. As soon as one leaves, it's like a train, you miss one, there's always another coming, right? I mean, sometimes you have to wait like a while maybe, but most of the time there's always going to be another train. And so if you miss one, maybe it's annoying, maybe you have to wait a little bit longer, but trust and believe there will be one coming, and there's no need to fixate on the one that left or freak out because that's the only train. And I feel like for you guys, this is just about like having faith in yourself, and also maybe having faith in your ability to communicate, because I'm feeling like communication is really important for you guys. I'm just getting this vibe that this is maybe about finding your sword energy, and that air sign energy of being willing to like voice it, being willing to say it. And it's worth noting that the sword cards, the air cards in astrology, are a sign of conflict. So not that like, I don't think air signs are innately confrontational, or they'd like to fight or anything. But in the tarot, they are represented by the swords, and the swords deck is full of images of conflict and depictions of people literally fighting. And I think that's because sometimes when you actually voice how you feel, you are running the risk of conflict. And that's why a lot of us don't want to do it. And that's why a lot of us just bottle up our feelings, don't say them, don't voice them, because we know that there's something so powerful about words. And once we communicate them, once we give voice to them, then it's almost like we can't take them back. But I will say that if you don't feel comfortable communicating with a partner, communicating with a friend, if you don't feel like you can be honest with that person and they will try to assuage your fears and help take care of things and make you feel better and make your life better and not blow it up into something else, then that's a problem as well. So like that's a red flag. If we can't, ideally with a partner, we can come to them with our problems. We can come to them when we're feeling bad and they'll make it better. They'll improve our life. They will talk to us about, how they can fix it, or, oh, I didn't know I was doing that and I will try. And not everyone is like perfectly mature and has been through years of therapy. And I think that's normal. It's nothing to freak out about. But ultimately, we should feel safe with that person, and we should feel like we can, dump things on them, or not dump things on them, but we should be able to feel like we can hand over some of our worries and stress to them, and that they will handle that and take care of that. I think it's especially important for the feminine energy in a relationship to feel like the masculine energy can make her feel safe and make her feel contained and make her feel like she can come to him with a problem, or he's not just going to like dump all the issues on her and she's just going to be sorting through everything. You see that in so many relationships where the woman does all the childcare and she takes care of the house and she does all this stuff. And of course, it's going to lead to feelings of unsafety. Of course, it's going to lead to stress and anxiety on her part. And it's really unfair. So it's actually a very masculine thing to step up to the plate and be like, no, babe, I got this handled. You go lay down on the couch. I'm making dinner and, just watch your show or whatever. And to give her that space and to make her feel heard and listened to. But of course, that doesn't happen so much. And a lot of men aren't really in their divine masculine. And, that also takes women out of their feminine energy too. So yeah, not to get on a spiel about that, but I just feel like for you guys, there is that energy of really needing to maybe discuss some things or even just settle things in your own mind. Let's get into some more cards for pile number 3. What messages do we have for pile 3? So we got the King of Cups, okay? The Knight of Wands. What messages do we have for pile 3? The Ace of Swords, the Ten of Cups. So, this is actually a positive message I'm getting. Just after being negative for like a while, right? For half the reading or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of positive cards here, like the Knight of Cups, that could indicate that your partner may be more receptive to this than you realize. And I think so much of the time, a lot of times, I don't know, maybe it's the Venus Aries in me, but whenever I have a problem in like a relationship, trust and believe it is being dealt with. It is being brought up. There is never going to be any repression. I really can't. I have so much water in my chart, and then Cancer Moon and Pisces Sun, and then Aries Venus. It's like, it's going to be brought up. It's going to be dealt with. It's going to be said. And I just can't just be that chill, cool girl that's like, yeah, it's fine. But I actually think that has held me in such good stead. In the one relationship where I wasn't that way, and I kind of kept listening to people who would say, no, just play cool and don't. That one was the one that really went left like the most. And I think it's because, yeah, I didn't address those things. And even though it sucks that you might have to be the one to bring those things up, I think you're the only one who can advocate for yourself. You're the only one who knows what's going on inside your head. You're the only one who can say what you want. And that other person may not necessarily want the same thing. And that's not necessarily bad. It doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong, but maybe they have different emotional needs. Maybe they don't need to feel that validation. Maybe for them, they don't need that feeling of safety or whatever. And so it's like, it's going to be up to you. You're the only one who can know your needs, your feelings. And if it's bothering you, it's worth bringing it out and talking about it and mentioning it, in my opinion. And I always think it's sad because there will be girls who like put up with a situation that they don't feel comfortable in, they don't feel safe in. Maybe it's demeaning to them. Maybe that person isn't really treating them right. And they're too afraid to bring something up. I also think it's a lot harder for someone to hide their intentions when you bring something into the light and when you start like talking about it. It's really hard to maintain the secrecy and the lies and the hidden whatever when you're like, okay, so let's discuss this, let's sit down and let's look at this. You know what I mean? And so in a way it's also a really good like protective strategy, because the wrong person is just gonna like run from that conversation entirely. And as soon as you start being like, so we need to talk, they're gonna be like, no, I'm not talking with you, whatever, and cut that off. And that's also your sign. Like if someone's not willing to meet you halfway or listen to you or hear you out, then you already have your answer. But I always think you should never, ever, ever be afraid to bring up your concerns. And this could be about you initiating a conversation or saying how you feel and just allowing the other person to like deal with it. We got the Six of Pentacles. We got the King of Cups. This person may be happy to kind of like take care of you and assuage your fears and do these different things, make some changes to make you feel safer and to make you feel better. And I feel like it's going to be up to you to kind of maybe verbalize it. And if this is not a person, maybe this is like a workplace situation. Again, you're the only one who can address it. You're the only one who can go to HR. You're the only one who can talk to the boss. You're the only one who can try to talk to a client. Like, you know what I mean? And so instead of sitting around and allowing the situation to worry you, stress you out, and drive you crazy, I think this is about really taking your power back and realizing that you have the capacity and power to change it. And also, to a certain extent, realizing your own power. I think so much of the time when we're afraid to like bring up a concern or bring up a need, it's because we think deep down that like we're not really worth it. That like, why would they accommodate me? They probably don't even like me. So yeah, they're not gonna actually change for me. And we don't want to look like a clown. We don't want to look like an idiot by asking someone like, can you do this for me? And they're like, I don't even care about you like that. No, you know what I mean? Like we feel like, oh my gosh, that would be so humiliating. That would be so embarrassing. I don't want to hear that. No. So I'm just not going to ask. And some of it is realizing your own power and how much you bring to the table, because pile number 3, I think you guys are like incredible, amazing. And there are so many people that benefit from your energy and love having you around. And you might be very much underselling yourself. You might think of yourself as like, I'm kind of like a burden, and someone is so lucky and feels so valuable, that you are so valuable and feel so blessed to have you in their life. So I feel like for you, it's also about realizing, yeah, I do bring a lot to the table and people are lucky to be around me, and I don't need to be afraid to set up boundaries, establish my needs, say what I want, and get very clear about that. I also think people are only able to do shady stuff, this is my personal belief, in the shadows and in the darkness. Maybe it's because I have so much Pluto dominant in my chart, but I always love that thing of like bringing something out of the shadows and then it suddenly gets revealed. We're only allowed to have pickpockets because they're shirking around and doing it surreptitiously and sliding their fingers into someone's pockets and grabbing their wallet. They're not doing that in the light of day. They wouldn't be able to. Someone's only able to be shady and operate in a place of danger when it's like hidden, and when we're not willing and when we're ashamed to say what we want, when we get tricked into like, oh, you're asking for too much. And when we're willing to have that talk, we're willing to address something, we're willing to bring it up and speak about it, then that really takes away their ability to also do things that are dysfunctional. Yeah, it's like if you're looking at someone in the eye, of course they can still lie to you, and that's also like a different thing. Then as soon as they lie to you, then they can no longer kind of feign ignorance. Like if you had that talk about, are we exclusive and are you only dating me? And they say, yeah, we're exclusive. Then when they do end up, texting someone else or going on a date with someone else or sleeping with someone else, then you get to say, they don't get to play you with the like, I didn't know. I thought, well, I don't know. I thought we were seeing other people. We never talked about that. And so you're going to have the upper hand because you're going to be like, no, we did talk about it and you lied to me. And they're not going to be able to operate and make you confused and make you feel Neptunian and foggy and like, well, I don't know what, well, I guess he's right because he did say, you know what I mean? It's only when we allow that like comfort status quo to continue that someone's allowed to like really play us, lie to our face. And once we really get down to the brass tacks and we're like, okay, what's going on here? And what are you doing? And what are you up to? And we're willing to have that conversation and initiate it, then, they're not going to be able to do as much to us. But a lot of times it's just that fear of like, what if I bring it up? What if they leave me? Whatever. And that's why you need to get rid of those fears and realizing you can thrive and you will thrive totally on your own. Not that you have to be on your own, but like if it happened, you'd be good. Okay, let's get some cards for pile number 3. What messages do we have for pile number 3? So we got, let's see, the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. This one says Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. This one is the courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. This one that fell out is portal, doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card, and let's get one more. Star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transformation, activation. So I feel like for you, I want to go back to what I said at the beginning. For some of you guys as well, this could be someone that is really devoted to you and really does care a lot about you, and also maybe questioning your hyper independence or the way you sometimes process things in relationships. I think we all tend to have like a trauma response that we have, like a go-to trauma response when we feel unheard or when we feel unsafe, where we might start panicking and we go to like, okay, I'm just going to do things on my own. Or I don't know, like I'm just gonna ignore, or I'm gonna get really needy, or I'm gonna really start a lot of arguments. And it's really also worth unpacking whatever that is. It's worth thinking about, why have I been acting this way? Or am I acting out of alignment with what I want? Because sometimes we don't feel safe, but it's almost like maybe a different tactic would help with that. Maybe voicing our concerns in a calm way would help with that. And it's not something we want to have going on all the time. If we really feel unsafe in a relationship, I think that's a pretty big red flag. But sometimes our own fears can creep in. Sometimes we can self-sabotage. Us humans are very complex, crazy individuals. So it's worth thinking about that and kind of thinking about what you want, like I said, out of the relationship, what you want out of your life. And if the steps that you're taking now are really in alignment with that, or they're kind of taking you out of alignment with that. Sometimes it can be that fear of being seen, that fear of like someone knowing us really well, that fear of intimacy and what happens when we become so close to a person and dependent on them. And even for those of you guys who are single, it may be worth working through those issues, working through any fears you have with that, any limiting mindsets, any scarcity beliefs that I'm not lovable, or if someone really knows me, they'll leave me. All those things are very much worth taking the time to work through and unpack and figure out again what it is you want out of life, because I always think there's no wrong answer for what you want out of life, but there's definitely wrong approaches. There's definitely wrong ways to go about it. Like if you do really, you're obsessed with accomplishing something in your career, it may not be the best to like try to be a trad wife and vice versa. You know what I mean? And again, you can also change identities. You can also change what you want. But I feel like it's in our best interest to sit down and think about, what do I think would really make me happy? What is my soul calling me to? And what would really make me feel fulfilled? And what is pulling my heart? What do I feel super drawn to? And that's such a strong signal as well. Whether that's a person, whether that's a career, whatever it is, whatever we feel so like just magnetized to, drawn to, like we just really feel something pulling us in from that. That's a really strong, powerful signal to us as well. So yeah, that is what I have for you. Pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your spiritual powers and gifts. And before that, I posted a reading about your person and whether you knew them in a past life, what your soul connection is with them. Before that, I posted one about what people have realized about you. But there's so much content to go through. Like I said, over 90 exclusive readings that you'll only find over on Patreon. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a tarot reading, an astrology reading, a channeling session, or a combination of all 3. You get to choose whether it's pre-recorded, whether it's live, and really customize your reading so it's the perfect session for you. So if you're interested, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. A link for that is in my description. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 4, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards. So you guys got the Ace of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, 2 of Swords, and the 6 of Wands. So I feel like the message I'm getting is that your energy has been stuck and stagnant for too long, and Spirit is like sick of it. Spirit is ready to bring you something super new, and Spirit, I feel like, is saying that it's also up to you. Like, you need to also seek these situations out and also welcome them in, because Spirit is telling me that there have been a few times when Spirit has tried to bring you like a new event, a new opportunity, and sometimes you have resistance. Sometimes there's a part of you that's like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, or like, let me overthink it, or I'm not going to call that person back, or I'm kind of scared. Like, and I feel like Spirit really wants you to kind of step out of your comfort zone and embrace that energy of adventure, and also embrace the uncertainty. Like, yeah, you don't know what's going to happen next, and that's scary, but there's also something so exciting about that. You know, I found that, like, whenever you're embarking on something new, whether you're traveling somewhere, whether you are starting a new endeavor, starting a new relationship, there's always going to be that sense of fear. And there's always going to be that sense of like, what if something horrible happens? And sometimes something horrible does happen, right? Sometimes you go on that trip and you booked a beautiful hotel room and you show up and it looks completely different than it does in the photos. And it's stressful. Maybe you have to book somewhere else. Maybe you have to file a dispute with your card, or contact the website and try to get a refund. But a lot of times, like, it will work out, you know, and we will always find a solution. And sometimes it's about having that inner faith and trust in ourselves that is going to allow us to embrace those opportunities. Because I think that's one thing that we gain from travel, and why Sagittarius has this boldness to them, is because it's like, even if the hotel is horrible, life will still go on. I'll figure it out. It's really about that self-trust. It's all going to be okay. I'm going to be okay going to a foreign country and I don't speak the language, but you know what? I'll figure it out. I will make a way. And sometimes it's literally about believing in ourselves. And I almost feel like you guys need that boost of confidence, or maybe there's something very new happening in your life and you keep being like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I can't do this. And I feel like I want to remind you of all the times you felt that way in the past, all the times you have been freaking out or panicked about something and you've been like, oh, I don't think I can do this, I don't think I can handle it, but like, you always did. You know what I mean? So knowing that, you don't have to be afraid or wondering if you can handle it. Of course you absolutely can. Of course you will. You have, you did, and you're going to in the future. I feel like you need to have more of that like inner faith and that trust that you've got this. Even if everything does go wrong, even if the worst case scenario happens, even if, you know, everything hits the fan and you're like, oh my God, it's like, it's all going to be okay at the end of the day. Even the worst case scenario still is going to be okay. And I feel like for you, the worst case scenario probably isn't going to happen. We got the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. So these new beginnings could literally be from God. I've mentioned that before, but like the element of, Heather in Kabbalah, the element of God, the highest form, is connected with the aces. So literally when we have a new beginning that seems that it comes out of nowhere, like that new idea that we get, or that new opportunity, or that new relationship, a lot of times it's literally sent from God. Not always, and you want to listen to your intuition. If you feel really nervous and I don't know, this person's kind of weird and they give me, that might be something to pay attention to. But if you're like so enthusiastic and you just are like, yeah, I want to talk to this person again. And oh my gosh, I want this business opportunity. I'm so happy this came out of the sky and like I just have so much enthusiasm for it. Then those things are powerful signals from our intuition. And it's definitely worth paying attention to. It's definitely worth listening to. And I feel like for you guys, Spirit just wants you to, it's almost like Spirit is saying you have all these dreams and things you want to accomplish, but then there's a part of you that feels like, oh, I can't do it, or it's not going to happen for me like that, or it's just, it's a dream, but it's not really likely, and I don't think it's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like Spirit is saying, of course it will, and of course it can. And for you, a lot of this is about, like I said, having that inner faith, knowing you can do it, but trusting yourself. And also, like, why are you putting the brakes on yourself? Why are you telling yourself, I can't do this? Why are you allowing yourself to engage in any negative self-talk? If Spirit has brought something to your life, then, it's for a reason. Of course, you're capable of handling it. I feel like this is almost like about something that you're not even scared of because it's like daunting and it's going to be hard. It's like almost like you're scared of it because it's too good and because it's so amazing and you just don't know if you're ready for it. And I feel like this thing, even though it may seem scary and I am feeling those nerves and that like uncertainty, but trust me, I feel like Spirit is going to manage this and Spirit is going to take care of so many things for you. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number 3. You want to know what messages pile number 3 needs to know. What messages do you have for pile number 3? Let's see. Okay, so we got personal guide, guardian angel, spirit family. So you are being guided in this pile number 4. You guys are being guided in this. You are being looked after. You are being taken care of. We also got Archangel Raziel, wisdom, inspiration, Akashic records. So all these things are unfolding as it should. And I feel like your guides, angels, ancestors are really close around you. So that's another reason you don't need to be scared. I feel like for you, there's this energy that sometimes you really limit yourself or you stay in your safety zone and you kind of don't want to venture outside of that. You kind of don't want to like push yourself and go into something that feels really scary or that you don't feel ready for. I feel like Spirit wants to acknowledge that you're so smart and you're so competent. And of course, you always figure everything out. So you will figure this out too. This is no different from anything else. Yeah, let's get some more cards. We got connections, a partnership, contract, commitment, and animal totems, animal energy and powers, and creation, soul expression, something new. Oh, that is perfect for the aces. That definitely connects with the aces. So yeah, I feel like you're creating something super new. And what's so exciting about it is like the unlimited potential. Like I feel like there's so many ways that this could turn out to be, something totally different than anything you've done in the past. It's like there's, I'm getting the energy of like all gas, no brakes, like no limits and just unlimited potential. And it could literally be anything. And I really do feel like whatever you're dealing with this, there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of positive energy. And even if it never turns into something long term, even if this is just like, oh, this is going to be someone I date for a while, it can also be something that is really powerful and kind of points us in the right direction and makes us believe in love again or makes us feel those feelings again and encourages us to come back out of our shell, or even if it's like a business endeavor and it doesn't end up lasting for your whole life and it's just a temporary like business deal that you make or whatever, or temporary job, it can also point us to the right path. I mean, so many people will say that, like a CEO of a company will say, I just got the job at this fast food place. I didn't think I'd be working there long, but that's how I rose through the ranks. And then I ended up moving to this job and I was only there for a short time, but then I really enjoyed it and it made me realize I wanted to get into this field. And it's often not like one linear path. Like sometimes something is coming into our life and it is temporary, but it's also to point us in that right direction or to make us feel like, what, I could really use this, or this would be great for me, or this is something that really would make me feel fulfilled. Either way, there's a blessing that comes about when we embrace that change. change, when we're willing to step into the unknown, and when we're willing to kind of like listen to our intuition. I feel like there's something very like divine that's happening or unfolding in your life, and it's really exciting, to be honest. I feel like for you, sometimes there's this energy that like when things are really good, it's almost like you're afraid that it's too good to be true, or there's a part of you that thinks, ah, like this is gonna screw up sooner or later. And I feel like for you, there's a very powerful and positive potential coming through. Like it's like whatever this is has so much potential to grow so much, and has so much potential to be something that's amazing. And even if it doesn't last forever, you can still take so much out of it and feel like, I'm really glad I experienced that, and I'm really glad I got to have that growth, and I'm really glad I got to go through that. I also feel like for you guys, again, remembering that you're safe, remembering that you're protected, and remembering that also this is about remembering your own competence. Some of it is, I feel like there's something you've wanted for a really long time, but maybe now that it's here, you're like, I don't think I'm ready, or I don't think I can do this. And it's like Spirit wants to say, of course you're ready. You are so good. You always manage things, you always handle things. And I feel like however you manage this, like you always find a way, you always take care of it. And yeah, I just feel like such a positive energy around you, like you've got this, that's really what I feel like Spirit wants to tell you. Let me pull some more tarot for you. Pile number 4. What tarot do we have for pile 4? What does pile 4 need to know with their tarot? Okay, so this is the 9 of Wands. Okay, the Moon, the Page of Pentacles, and the 7 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Let's get 2 more cards for you. Pile number 2. Pile number 4, I don't know why. I guess I say random numbers sometimes in my readings. The King of Swords and the Queen of Cups. So we have a lot of intuitive energy coming in. We have the Queen of Cups, the Moon card, a lot of Cups energy in general. I feel like for you, this is also about getting really clear about what you want when it comes to whatever this is. It's also about you deciding kind of the boundaries that you have for whatever this is. Like I feel like Spirit is also telling me a message that it's almost like preparing in advance, or getting those things clarified in advance will also help you with whatever this endeavor is. And if you do have that anxiety, if you are nervous about this and you're kind of like wondering like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Can I handle this? It's going to allay a lot of your fears and your anxiety if you are able to talk it out and like really establish those things. So if you are able to like get a list of what you expect from another person, or from the business deal, or whatever the case may be, if you're able to like establish that and actually really talk it out, I feel like that's going to really help you as well. And you're not going to be as stressed or worried going into it. Some of the reason why you feel anxiety or confusion may be that you haven't talked it out enough, and you haven't actually brought up some of your concerns. So I feel like communication is going to be key here, and also like establishing expectations, establishing what you think, what you want from that other person. And I'm not going to lie to you, we do have like the 9 of Wands, the 7 of Wands. So there may be more kind of effort that this requires. We got the Page of Pentacles as well. So there may be work that has to be put in to make this happen. It may not just be something that falls into your lap, even though it may feel like that at first. With the aces, often when they come in, they can feel so easy. But then of course, as we begin going down the line, like we can see that in most of the tarot spreads, where the ace starts out as very positive, and then we go into like the second and the number 3, and there's like a buildup of effort, and then usually it culminates in the 10 in the tarot minor arcana. But anyway, I feel like for you guys, yeah, so sometimes those beautiful gifts, they are from Spirit, but they start out almost easier, and almost if we knew everything that was going to happen and like the hard work it would require, maybe we would be daunted. So maybe that's why Spirit wants us to have some optimism, and maybe that's what you're picking up on, and that's why you are feeling anxious. But I really feel like Spirit wants to remind you that, yeah, you do have energy to take this on. And it's like, I think you're going to have to sit down and really think through, of course, all the different possibilities with this and almost like make a list of things you want out of it or things that you're willing to put in when it comes to work. But I feel like Spirit is saying you have been in that stagnant energy for a really long time. And it's almost like time for you to venture out and do something. And again, I think even just getting really clear about what you want and like having that list or knowing in your heart that, this is in alignment with your values is also going to be really key and also help you to accomplish those things. Sometimes we kind of don't want to fully sit down and like hammer out the brass tacks. We want to stay in that kind of moon energy, somewhat delusional, somewhat like super optimistic, like, oh, it's just going to work out and it'll be fine energy. But that's why it's important to be very clear about these are my goals, this is what I want out of this, and how can I communicate that to the people who need to know it? How can I, again, have that list going in, have that list of like what I want and what I'm willing to accept, what I'm not willing to accept, and kind of going over that and getting that clarity in your mind. I feel like that's really, really important. So if we're starting something new, whether it's like we're going to start a relationship, whether it's like we're going to start a business, I think having that in mind, what we want out of it is almost like half the battle, because it can be so easy to lose yourself in like the possibility. It can be so easy to lose yourself in like that other person's wants and their needs and their desires. And so that's why it can be really important and helpful just to be willing to have that talk, just to be willing to bring it up to the other person and like run things by them and let them know what we want and what we're expecting. Yeah, I feel like for you, this is about really establishing your own kind of self-identity and your own awareness of your desires and your needs out of whatever this situation is. Let me get some more cards for you, pile number 4. So we got surrender to sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. Wow. Ooh. Okay, juicy card. And then we got Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. I love that these came out together because I always say that, like, I think no matter what happens, like Earth is a school. So even if it's a really tough lesson, because I think some of you guys are really worried about like the worst case scenario, or what if this doesn't work out, or what if this turns out to be negative? And again, I feel like you just need to know that like, even if it does, okay, so what? Like, you will be fine. You will be okay. And it will be a lesson. But I actually think there's something so blessed and beautiful that's going to come out of this. And I feel like for you, there's also just that real message that you are very powerful. You are the Queen of Cups or the King of Swords. You are very smart and you're also very good with people. You're very good with relationships, and like you can manage and handle whatever this is. You are so capable. I feel like that's another thing you need to know. Sometimes when we feel so daunted, what it is that inner feeling of like lack of self-belief, lack of like, I can handle this. It's like, I find this often in my tarot readings, private readings. It's like, I love doing them, but sometimes it's like someone will be like very, you can tell, like not confident in their own choices. Like they already know, or I'll tell them something and they're like, oh yeah, I kind of already knew that, but I just wanted it confirmed. And it's like, I always think if you feel your intuition screaming at you, definitely pay attention to that. Not to say you can't get readings done, but I also think it's like, it's a good thing to listen to your own inner authority. It's a good thing to trust yourself and what your energy is telling you. And by the way, I still see tarot readers, I still see mediums and psychics. So I'm not saying, you can never see a medium. Obviously, I wouldn't do this kind of work if I felt that way. I think it's extremely valuable. But I also think sometimes it's like, it's important to make our own decisions as well. It's important to listen to our intuition because only we can see or hear the exact calling Spirit has for us. Other people can read the situation and give their opinion and give you, professional advice on what they would do or what they see coming. But only we can know what resonates with us and resonates for us. And only we can also know those soul lessons we came down to earth to learn and what we are supposed to take out of it. This card says Akashic Records, Archangel Raziel. Akashic Records is a great example of that. That's that record of the deeds you've done, the karma you have, etc., etc. And so we never know if we might be settling a karmic debt from another lifetime, if we signed up for a certain life lesson, if that's really important to our soul development and to our future trajectory as a soul, or we're supposed to bring bring something into this realm, and maybe we just bring it in, and then that's like a temporary thing we're involved in, and then that thing is in that realm, and then we go off and do our own thing. So maybe we're supposed to start a business and then we leave that business, but someone else is running it, and then it does, something for them. We never know, and we can never fully understand like the plan spirit has. So I just feel like spirit is actually calling on you guys just to kind of have that trust and trust the process and understand that like there is no good or bad. There is no like, oh my gosh, you failed at this. There is no like, oh my gosh, I completely screwed it all up, because it's literally not possible. Everything is unfolding in for our greatest and highest good as a soul, even if it's because we're supposed to have a lot of hard lessons this lifetime, which hopefully is not the case. But if it is, we'll get really ahead on the other side and maybe have a super easy lifetime next go around. But either way, it's like I feel like for you guys, this is actually a blessing, and whatever this is has been brought in to try to bring you happiness and joy. We got that Venus energy card: pleasure, joy, make love to life. So I feel like there's a part of you, pile number 4, that really like deep down inside is like afraid of the blessings, or doesn't feel like you deserve the blessings. There's a part of you that I feel like is happy for everyone else when they experience those things, but like would never imagine it happening for you, and thinks that like, oh yeah, that's good for them and I'm happy for them, but like for me, no, like I could never see myself doing blah blah blah, or I could never see that happening for me, or I'm just, yeah, like I'm happy for certain things I have in my life, but when it comes to like that thing, that amazing blessing that is starting to unfold, no, 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 like I'm not ready for this. And it's almost like self-sabotage. It's almost like panicking and hitting the panic button and wanting to extract yourself. And wanting to keep it at a distance. And I feel like there's also a message about some of you guys needing to like have control. Like I feel like for you, when things get unexpected, when things start being out of your entire power, like when things start becoming multiple people involved, or you're not the only one with a say over it, then that's when you really start getting super stressed out. And that's when you really start to like let that anxiety creep up in you. And again, I just feel like there's a message of like surrendering to this process and not taking yourself out of it, not allowing yourself to allow your mind to go to all those negative places, and to realize that if someone else is good enough for them to have blessings happen to them, then you're good enough as well. I also love like Abraham Hicks has different meditations about how like you don't need to earn anything. You don't need to deserve anything. I think sometimes in the spiritual community, we do have that attitude about like, oh, we have to be so nice and we can't have bad karma. And I think sometimes even that can hold us back from really achieving as much abundance as possible, because I truly do believe karma is real, but I also don't think it's necessarily something we need to focus on. I think sometimes there's a lot of negative talk around like suffering and how, like you can't be karmically mean to someone, or you can't be mean to someone because then you'll get bad karma. So maybe you sit there like a clown and eat that food that the waiter dropped off that's not anything like you ordered, and you actually hate what they gave you, but because you don't want to be mean and you don't want to be a Karen, so you're not going to say anything. And it's like, I think a lot of people need to realize there's no reward at the end of life for suffering. There's no reward for being like the good one who just puts up with a bunch of trash and nonsense behavior, So it's like, knowing that, you might as well advocate for yourself, knowing that you may as well go for what you want, and knowing that like someone's going to get it. You might not feel good enough to have that beautiful relationship, so you sabotage the really cute guy who's super into you, but you know what, he's going to go date someone else and she's going to have that life that you wanted, or that job interview that you just psych yourself out about and think, oh, I can't really do this, I'm not even going to show up, and you ghost the interviewer, but you really wanted that job. Like someone else is going to get that job, and they're going to get the benefits and the 401k, and they're going to get to tell people they work for that company, and people are going to be like, wow, oh my gosh, that's a really great company. And so, if you sabotage yourself out of it, then someone else is going to get that role, that position, that blessing. And it's not to say we have to be like competitive with other people, but I think it's worth noting that like whether you feel good enough for it or not, someone's getting it. And so you might as well take it for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it reminds me, I remember one time I went over to Thanksgiving at this person's house. It was such a bad Thanksgiving, by the way. But anyway, and then I had bought like a really nice bottle of wine, and the lady who was hosting, I did not know because I was invited to go. And anyway, it ended up being like the worst Thanksgiving. And I was like, why did I even bring wine? Like, this was not that level of an event. But anyway, and the lady who was hosting was also pregnant. So she couldn't drink. So none of us ended up drinking anything at all. And then at the end, she was like, oh, and by the way, take your wine. You're so sweet. And I was trying to be really polite. So I kept being like, oh, no, 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 absolutely. You keep the wine. And thanks for having me, even though I like barely ate anything because the food like was I really couldn't eat any of the food because I was gluten free at the time anyway. So, and they knew that, but they didn't make anything gluten free anyway. So and they just ordered in like Chinese food, which I love Chinese food, but like on Thanksgiving it was really the worst Thanksgiving ever, and I was so annoyed after. Like, why did I waste my time? Anyway, it was not someone I knew. I was invited and I was like brand new to LA, and I was like, oh yeah, this will be great spending Thanksgiving with people. No, that was the worst Thanksgiving ever. But anyway, my point is at the end, she kept being like, okay, take your wine. Like, no, you can have it. And I kept being like, no, 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 you guys have it. And, you can drink it after you give birth or whatever, thinking I was being polite. And then she just turned to like some random guy and she's like, okay, you have the wine. And he takes the wine. And I was like, oh my God, I should have taken the wine because I literally brought over this wine. I didn't eat anything and was starving after and had to go get pizza with my friend. So yeah, it was just a total bust. But that feeling I had when I realized like, I should have just taken the wine. Now he's got the wine and I'm the one who brought wine over like an idiot and now didn't even eat a thing. And anyway, it was a waste of my time. But like, if you think about things like that, maybe you'll get clearer in your mind about, why am I sabotaging this opportunity? Why am I turning it down? Someone else is going to get it if I don't say yes. So I may as well embrace it. I may as well welcome it in and be grateful to spirit. And sometimes also, I think a lot of us can have a tendency to like overthink or like get in our head about something and ruminate over it too much. At least I know I do that with my Mercury in the first house. But I feel like for you guys, you're really being called to just like welcome this in and kind of like go with the flow, kind of have that beautiful moon energy that just drifts with the kind of river and just allows things to flow into place. And kind of, yeah, because the moon is water, it's connected with Pisces in the tarot, and of course in astrology the moon rules over Cancer, two water signs, and water flows. It doesn't fight, it doesn't resist, it goes wherever it's supposed to flow to. So I feel like you're being called to kind of like not have as much resistance to whatever this new thing is, or even if this is something that hasn't come in yet but it's something you're wanting, like you really want to travel to a certain place, or you really want to get a job in a certain field, or you really want a relationship. Like, are you going out there? Are you actually like trying to date people, or are you just staying at home? Are you allowing yourself to kind of get swept away by life, or are you staying in your comfort safety zone completely? So we also got Earth, learning how to be human in the world but not of it, the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts, in the void, stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb. So wow, I love all of these. And I feel like, again, this is an energy of being worthy to receive. With the golden children, it reminds me of how like excited little kids are when you give them a gift, and they would never be like, no, 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 I can't have it, or all those things we kind of learn to do as an adult, or say, oh, that's too expensive. A child is always just going to receive with like that super excited, happy joy. And that's really what spirit wants us to do, is like when spirit has brought us a gift, we need to like embrace it and appreciate it for what it is. And even if things don't work out, even if things end up being, negative after a certain point or whatever, then we can regroup and kind of, pivot and make a different choice, I guess. But it's also about being present in the moment and expecting the best and being optimistic and knowing that everything is unfolding in your favor, and knowing that there's no wrong or right choice we can make, because at the end of the day, we came to this life to learn so many different lessons for our soul. And so there's no real negative outcome. Everything is helping us to learn a lesson, to achieve some growth, or just to enjoy life and have positivity around us. So yeah, I feel like this is very positive pile four. It's a beautiful kind of reading to leave off on. So thank you guys for that. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my content, head to my Patreon. I have over 90 exclusive readings there you'll only find on Patreon. I just posted one all about your spiritual powers and gifts. Before that, I posted one about your person and do you know them from a past lifetime? What is your soul connection with them? Before that, I posted one about what people have realized about you, but there is so much content to go through over on Patreon, over 90 exclusive readings, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So there is a lot to go through, and you also get to vote and suggest on new topics over there. If all of that sounds good and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a tarot reading, astrology session, channeling session, or a combination of all three. You get to choose whether it's live or pre-recorded. You get to really customize your session, so it's the perfect reading for you. So if you're interested, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.